You disagree?
Well, I mean, we could say we got to cut smartly. Then why haven't we done it for the last 30 years? Why, Republicans control. I mean, when you were in Congress,
so you'd rather do it dumbly?
No, I think Elon Musk is a disruptor. It's what he does. He's not part of government. It's to break glass and change. He's already said we're going to make.
But there's a legal way to do it, and there's an Elon way. Elon is, they've been stopped at every end by the courts, by the way. And then when they haven't, they're sitting here laying off probation. If you think laying off all the probationary employees, including people that have moved up and now are in a different spot, is a smart way to go about government, great. I mean, it's fine. I'm not upset about that. I'm just telling you, in a year or two, we're going to pay the price for that. And the reaction is
more people join government.
So Donald Trump tries to project this persona that he's some strong and tough macho man, but it's anything but that. He is a coward. He is insecure. He is weak. He is the furthest thing from a leader. And that all comes out when he is challenged, and especially when he's challenged by someone with actual principles. Speaking of which, Adam Kinzinger yesterday at Principles First went after Donald Trump and the rest of the spineless MAG majority in the House and the Senate, who were going along with all of his plans, and a brutal takedown that clearly got under the skin of Donald Trump and those around him. Because we saw just a ridiculous tweet from Donald Trump's official campaign account firing back at Adam Kinzinger for this call out. We're going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me now. Before we get into these clips, first, of course, we got to check out what Adam Kinzinger had to say.
Almost every Republican in Congress supports Israel, supports funding for Israel, supports letting Israel do whatever it needs to do to secure itself. Very few Republicans in Congress are aggressively outspoken about helping Ukraine do the same. Why?
Look, part of it is, and it would have been a good question for Russell Moore and David French, there is a religious component to it. This idea that Israel can do no wrong, right? There's also the political pressure that exists and the fact that Donald Trump supports Israel. I honestly think if Donald Trump would be a huge Ukraine supporter, every Republican would be a Ukraine supporter, because they do whatever he wants. I mean, literally, it's not because they're good, it's because they do whatever he wants. And I think there's a huge point to that, which sadly is the case. And, look, we can disagree with Israel on some things, we can disagree with Ukraine on some things, but listen, Israel was attacked, Ukraine was. To sit here and say that Ukraine started the war is batshit crazy. And the idea that's two bad words, sorry guys, I'm falling into the trap. But that it's crazy. And by the way, the war could stop this next second if Russia just simply ceased offensive combat operations. The war's over, that's it, right? Yep. And I want to say really quickly, Russians have lost 800,000 men dead, wounded, or captured, or missing. We lost like 400,000 or 500,000 in World War II. We liberated a continent, took down an empire with half of the casualties that Russia has had to only control 20% of Ukrainian territory. Don't tell me Russia's winning. They're not. They're barely holding on for dear life. And the only one that can save them right now is Donald Trump, and he's trying his best to do that.
Top 12, so you're all good.
Let me just say this, and I despise the fact that coarse language has become such a part of our political dialogue, but, okay, sometimes I think the only thing you can explain something is with coarse language, and so please forgive me for saying this, but what a bunch of fucking sissies those guys are. I mean, it's the only way to describe it, because look, if you, as your total existence, you've now decided you're going to try to intimidate people that come together and say, we want to put principles first. Yeah, we oppose your political movement, sorry guys, but here's what we want. And you're going to come and you're going to think that you're going to intimidate us. You think you're going to intimidate Michael Fanone and Harry Dunn. Guess what? You won't. And there is nothing you can do that will intimidate me. Yeah. And in fact, I've just decided to be twice as worse against you because of that. And so to me, that's why I think it's so important that you all stuck around and stayed here. You can threaten us, you can try to belittle us, you can try to play act like you're a bunch of brown shirts, but guess what? You're not going to win. So a well-deserved call out
of not just Donald Trump and just the embarrassing and disgusting decision he has made to side with Vladimir Putin, to side with Russia, to just abandon our allies in every sense of the word, and side with a guy, I guess, who's going to flatter him, but also calling out those Republicans who have fallen in line with that, who are literally going against words that they spoke not only not even just like a couple of months ago, like recently in favor of Donald Trump, complete cowards. And of course, that got under the skin of the MAGA people, because we saw this post from the Trump War Room. The official Trump War Room account responded to Adam Kinzinger saying, "What happened to Adam Kinzinger's neck? It's non-existent. Are we really going to compare the appearances of Adam Kinzinger and Donald Trump?" Judge, Donald Trump wants to play the looks game. He wants to play the who's got neck game, who's got the chiseled face game. That's really the comparison you want to be making. Really? You want to play the who's better looking game? These people are ridiculous. And it's funny that that's what they have to fire back with. It's like Adam Kinzinger is making this very substantive foreign policy critique. It's not even a foreign policy critique. It's just you're human garbage. Donald Trump, for abandoning our allies, abandoning a democracy, abandoning a people who are fighting back against a brutal dictator in Vladimir Putin. Because he sends you love letters and you think you're his friend, you are not. And that's all they have to say. That's MAG's big response. These people are jokes. They're cowards. They try to intimidate because they do, in fact, know how weak they are. They really do. They know that they're spineless. They know that they're scared. They know that they'll always fall in line. They know that they don't actually have any principles. All they do is attack. It's the only thing they can do. And that's a lot of what this purge of our government that we see from Doge and the Doge bags is all about, is trying to intimidate people, because that's what they need. And we have to fight back against it, which is part of what Adam Kinzinger had to say in a clip about those Doge bags right here.
What do you think?
Yeah, for the first couple of weeks they will, until these cuts really start hammering home. Here's the problem, and I've always been for smaller government. I mean, but the difference is you have to do it smartly. What you don't do is say every probationary employee is fired, because that's easy to do, because I can do that myself. What you're doing is you're basically destroying the whole next generation of government workers. It's like what you had after 9/11, where there was a whole kind of missing generation of pilots after that, because people weren't going to pilot training from 2001 to 2010. You're going to have that in the government, and the government's all of a sudden going to find that it has an age problem. And then when people's Social Security checks, or as a veteran, they're firing people at the VA hotline, the suicide prevention hotline, which, by the way, 3 years ago or so, we plussed up because too many veterans were killing themselves. Now, all of a sudden, we're cutting that because we want to save a few dollars. I'm all for it. This is the wrong way of doing it. And Elon Musk smiling and giggling on the stage of CPAC with a chainsaw, that is going to come back in every commercial against every Republican candidate about, yeah, you didn't get your Social Security check on time, or veterans that have taken their own life. This guy was laughing about it on the stage with a chainsaw, and that's going to be something.
You disagree?
Well, I mean, we could say we got to cut smartly. Then why haven't we done it for the last 30 years? Why? I mean, Republicans control. I mean, when you were in Congress,
so
why
you'd rather do it dumbly?
No, I think Elon Musk is a disruptor. It's what he does. He's not part of government. It's to break glass and change. He's already said we're going to make.
But there's a legal way to do it, and there's an Elon way. Elon is, they've been stopped at every end by the courts, by the way. And then when they haven't, they're sitting here laying off probation. If you think laying off all the probationary employees, including people that have moved up and now are in a different spot, is a smart way to go about government, great. I mean, it's fine. I'm not upset about that. I'm just telling you, in a year or two, we're going to pay the price for that. And the reaction is
more people join government.
So, I don't know a huge amount about General Brown, other than he's an Air Force veteran and has a distinguished record, but that doesn't seem to be a DEI message.
Now, here's what people miss in the DEI conversation. I fully agree. Nobody should be promoted above somebody else because of their race, right? Everybody should be treated the same as Americans. The difference is, that commercial to me is not saying, hey, if you're white, don't come be an Air Force pilot because you're not going to get the job. It's saying, hey, if you're an African-American kid and you've grown up in a tough environment and you don't think you're capable of going and flying for the Air Force, guess what? You can. I have a buddy that runs a program called Tuskegee Next, takes young African-American kids out of the inner city, teaches them to fly airplanes. And if you're a pilot now, you're making $250,000, $300,000 a year. He has revolutionized these kids' lives. So like, that is a good thing to tell people that may not see themselves in the cockpit of an Air Force jet. You actually can fly. By the way, you'll be held to the same standards as Adam Kinzinger. The president has a right to fire whoever he wants in the Pentagon. I'm not going to argue with that because he is the commander-in-chief, but that sends a very chilling message and one that concerns me and should concern a lot of Americans.
I do applaud the president for trying to find a resolution to this. I just think the resolution cannot give an upper hand to Vladimir Putin.
Can I just say real quick, Ukraine is winning this war. Ukraine has killed 4 times as many people as they've lost. Russia has lost twice as many people as the U.S. lost in World War II.
Maybe people would be against it, I hope. But I don't know what the red line is. And the sad thing about that is, like you had said with the Notebook, there are a lot of people that I do kind of feel bad for, except that they're creating real damage, that someday are going to look in their mirror and be like, what did I become? Mitch McConnell's doing that right now, by the way. And I think about it, I've got a 3-year-old kid, and I know when he reads his last name in the history books, because unfortunately it's an uncommon last name, I'm not going to be able to hide, he's going to be proud. But there are a lot of people I worked with, there's going to be a lot of people I worked with that aren't going to have that. And your shame, it's what Liz Cheney said, your shame is eternal. And so I don't know if there's a red line. I know this, that we have the political power to stop this chaos. And someday people will have red lines if we demand it. But I'll say quickly, when I ran for Congress, and this is kind of a God thing because it's the one thing I think that kind of kept me online. I came back from Iraq and then ran for Congress. And I remember when I announced, saying and thinking, you know, if I'm going to be in a position to fund people to go to war, obviously I'm a little more hawkish, so I'd probably be more likely to do that. If I'm going to fund people to go to war, if I'm going to ask young people to give their life for the United States of America, if I'm willing to do that, I have to be willing to give up my career and job for the same cause. Because I have no right to salute a flag-draped coffin of a 19-year-old that gave his life for this country, literally everything, literally the ultimate sacrifice. If I'm going to go then, after saluting that flag-draped coffin, go to Washington, D.C. and go, I know I should vote no, but I have to vote yes because otherwise I might get a primary opponent.
I don't know how tuned in y'all are to other shows, other podcasts, other people, but if you are a consistent listener of the Bulwark K good friend, Tim Miller spoke with Adam Kinzinger just the other day about someone we spoke to on the show, Representative Robert Garcia, who was threatened by Donald Trump's DOJ for speaking out against Elon Musk, and Adam Kinzinger was talking to Tim about this. And he said that if you get a letter threatening you, if Donald Trump tries to go after you, say, bring it on. They have nothing. They're not actually going to be able to get you on. What can say Elon Musk is a dick, saying that they shouldn't be destroying our government? I don't think that's illegal yet in these United States. So bring it on. And I love that attitude from Adam Kinzinger. I loved it from Congressman Garcia. We need more of that. Bring it on. We're going to keep speaking out. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around at the end, you drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.